Hey, what's up, everybody? Terry Hansen here. Welcome back to Sales Performance Improvement Radio. Great to be back with you once again on this episode number 7. Listen, today I want to chat with you a little bit about something called Sales Enablement. And at this point, the digital era and the modern era of professional selling has been ushered in. Is about 22 years old at this point. And I want to talk to you about 4 areas as a sales manager that you should absolutely be focusing on to enhance and improve your overall sales enablement efforts. So stick with me. Let me tell you a quick story, rewinding the clock several years. Back in 1997, I had taken all of the experience and skills that I had developed as a competitive gymnast over the early course of my life, and I put those to work as an acrobat and a stunt performer at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. In 1997, I actually auditioned for them and was cast as an acrobat and as a stunt performer in their brand new theme park that they were opening up at that time called the Animal Kingdom. So the park opened in 1998, and I was one of the workshop cast members and performers to help open up 2 different shows out there. The first was the Journey into Jungle Book show, which no longer exists. And then the second was the Festival of the Lion King, which actually still exists today. But I'll never forget moving all of my packing up all of my earthly belongings into my green Volkswagen Jetta and driving across the country and moving over to Orlando, Florida to begin working for Walt Disney World. And I met a lot of great people and 101 amazing experiences out there. But I remember one day I was with a friend of mine over at his house, and we were chit-chatting about Bob Marley and about food and about the cute girls that we were getting acquainted with. And he happened to mention something called email. And I'm like, what is that? Or he asked me, I'll send you an email. And I'm like, what is email? Again, this is in 1998. And I'm like, what is that? And he says, well, it's like sending a letter through the mail, except you do it electronically or digitally over the internet from computer to computer. Do you have an email address? And I scratched my head and said, no, I'd never even heard of that sort of thing. And he's like, well, I can create one for you. It's free. And so we went to his computer, opened up his computer, and he dialed into the internet, and you hear that, the modem dialing in and getting all souped up. You guys remember that? Anyway, he logged into something called Hotmail, and he's like, all right, what do you want? And so I came up with something original, and it was Terry Han 80. terryhan80 at hotmail.com. That was my very first email address. And from that point on, boy, oh boy, I started getting more familiar with the internet and realized what a great and cool and amazing tool it was. But that was in 1998. And really, right about that time is when really there was a pretty tremendous shift, unbeknownst to, I think, a lot of people in the world, in professional selling and how buyers buy and how sellers sell. But it really about that 1998, 1999, 2000, about that turn, about that period, that really did usher in the digital age of selling. And something actually changed. There was a pretty powerful change that started happening with consumer behavior. And what started happening is, see, in the old days, if you wanted to buy some sort of a product or some sort of a service, where would you go before the internet to get information about that product or about that service? Really, the only place you could go was to a salesperson. A salesperson was trained to provide and dispense a lot of good features and benefits about products and services. And so if you wanted to buy something and had questions, that's who you needed to go to. But with the advent of the internet, 22 plus years ago or so, it's probably even longer than that, all of a sudden buyers could go online and start researching and looking at websites and reading information about the products and services. No longer did they need salespeople to be the guardians of all information and about products and services. They could actually get them themselves. Now, fast forward 2 decades, 20 years, consumer behavior has fundamentally changed forever. So much so that research studies tell us that when a typical buyer And I'm thinking more of like a business to business context, right? A CEO or an executive is looking to purchase something on behalf of his company. When they are looking to buy something, they will conduct their own research online, look at reviews, look at all the stuff that's available online, and they will get actually 70% of the way through their buying process, buying journey, before they ever reach out to a salesperson to have the very first conversation. So literally 70% of their mind is made up on what they want, why they want it, when they want it, how they want it, how much they want to pay for it, how they want it configured and set up, etc., before they even talk to a salesperson. And that's pretty significant because with buyers having more access to information online before they ever talk to a salesperson, that's pretty fundamentally changed how sellers sell, because buyers have changed how they buy. Consequently, over the last 20 years, salespeople and sellers have had to change how they sell. We know that, again, usually the very first conversation, the salesperson doesn't have to necessarily start all the way at square one. They just need to help take the potential customer across the finish line, in essence. So, and so because of the changing dynamics of the internet landscape and the buyers' buying process and journey, over the last really 5 to 10 years, there's been a new discipline that's developed. And wanted to chat a little bit about sales enablement. We've always heard about sales management for years and sales operations for years, sales consulting and sales training for years, and CRM software platforms. But when you zoom out and look at the macro level, all of the elements of marketing, all of the elements of sales, all of the elements of IT and web development, all the elements of customer service, all of the elements of product management, even all of the elements of human resources, all of those departments inside of a company come together to enable, to empower, and to support one thing. And that is the salespeople's ability to sell to today's buyers. And that's really what sales enablement is. It's really the intersection of all of those 6 or 7 different company departments and making sure that there's good, solid alignment between all of those systems, all of those departments. Good sales enablement efforts have at their heart and soul is alignment of all of those departments. So who typically owns sales enablement? Well, it's typically a marketing manager or it's typically a sales manager. So if you're a sales manager or a marketing manager, congratulations, you're responsible for making sure that all of those departments, all of the systems, all of the technology, all the tools, all the processes, all the resources are perfectly in harmony and aligned to pave the way for your salespeople to do an amazing job. So I wanted to chat with you a little bit about 4 key areas to focus on in 2022 to really take your sales enablement efforts to the next level. All right. So let's start off with number 1. Number 1 really is your analytics and your reporting. Your analytics and your reporting. Again, in a digital world, and in a world where increasingly more and more companies have to use some sort of a software platform or software tool to track and monitor all sorts of things, reporting and analytics is at the heart and soul of good sales empowerment, enablement, and support. Why? What sort of reporting and analytics are we looking at? We're looking at the marketing function. We're looking at how well the marketing is generating leads, how many people are viewing and clicking and downloading and subscribing and opting in. We're looking at those set of details and metrics. We're also looking at what the quality of the sales leads are. We're looking at lead scoring and if they're crappy leads or if they're really high quality, amazing leads. We're looking at the appointments scheduled. We're looking at deal size. We're looking at the number of proposals. We're looking at closing ratios. We're looking at reasons why deals don't, why they fall through. We're looking at really the sales cycle and the sales process and all the metrics going through there. And it's just one continuous line of data from marketing all the way through sales and even into customer service and client retention. Right. So when we're talking reporting and analytics, that's what we're really talking about. You absolutely need to have a sales automation or a marketing automation piece of software, as well as a sales CRM tool that allows you to seamlessly see all of the data, all of the metrics, all of the information to help you make wise decisions as it relates to your sales team. So that's the first area that you really want to consider and think about is upping your game in your level of transparency and clarity around the data and the metrics that is all feeding your sales revenue. So that's number one. Number two has to do with your sales content and your marketing content. Now, what do we mean by content? Content is really video. It's really the written word, but it's also images and pictures, and it even can be audio files like podcasts or, interviews and things like that. So what's the purpose of good sales and marketing content? Well, it's used in emails. It's used in print collateral. It's used in case studies. It's used on your website. It's used in lead magnets and bait and incentives to get people to opt in and subscribe to things. It's used on social media. It's used on your website. It's used all over the place for a variety of different purposes all along the buyer's journey, early in the stage, in the middle of the stage, and at the end. So sales content overall is got to be something that you are paying attention to. And as we talked about, again, all along the sales process, you're going to need certain kinds of content early on to help buyers get clarity around the core issues and challenges and problems that they are trying to solve. In the middle of the sales process, we need good content, again, videos, written word, designed images, even audio, to help your potential buyers understand really all of their options as it relates to the solutions that are going to fix those problems. And at the end of the sales process, good content that's going to help them understand how you as a supplier or as a vendor are really the very best vendor and supplier out there in the planet as it relates to providing those solutions to solve those problems. So that's really the purpose of your content, is helping them in all stages of the sales process. So that's number two. Again, number one is your reporting and analytics. Number two is your content, your sales and marketing content, and having it support well that buying process and journey. And number three element that you're going to need for in 2022 to really take your sales enablement efforts to the next level is technology and automation. Again, because we now live in a digital world, in a digital selling environment where data and information and technology rule the universe at this point. The only way to really scale our companies and help our salespeople do more is by leveraging technology and automation tools. Gone are the days where we need to copy and paste things or manually type and do things. But instead, we can create things one time, automate them so they are sent out automatically to 100 or 1,000 people, right? So and so when we're talking technology, we're oftentimes just talking about software platforms that live in the cloud online that you pay for. You create an account, and these are CRM systems. These are sales automation systems. These are marketing automation systems. These are email systems. They're reporting systems. All of those things, sometimes even just in one software. But those kinds of technologies, those kinds of software programs and platforms are absolutely a must these days. So question and ask yourself, how effective is the technology and the software platforms that you're currently using? Are you leveraging it to its fullest capacity? If you're not using it, you're really holding your sales team back in a mighty way if you're not leveraging technology and automation tools to their fullest. So take a second look at that and think about how you could better leverage that for social media messenger, for website chat bots, and email and text messaging and all of that sort of thing. Okay. Fourth and final area, and that is training. So we will never quite ever get away from the need to help salespeople grow their skills, modify and update their behaviors, adjust their attitudes, and help them gain increased knowledge about their job. So I like to call those four things BASK, B-A-S-K, B-A-S-K, behaviors, attitudes, skills, and knowledge. So your sales training curriculums and programs and courses all need to be focused on helping them, help strengthening those skills, knowledge, behaviors, and attitudes at each stage of the sales process. So there's always opportunity to help them do better, to be more efficient, more productive. And that really is at the heart and soul what good sales training is all about. It's about boosting and enhancing the overall level of productivity that your sales team has. Are they able to do more in less time? Are they able to close larger size deals in the same quantity of time that it would take to close a smaller size deal, right? So those are the four elements. Number one, again, reporting and analytics. Number two, sales and marketing content. Number three, technology and automation. And number four, training and skill development. So I hope those four areas get you kind of auditing and thinking critically about your sales organization, your team, your department, your relationship with customer service, IT, marketing, human resources, product management, all of those, and asking yourself, are we as a sales organization, are we working as effectively as we can together? Are we as aligned as we should be together? If the answer is no, then good news. At this point in time, sales enablement is a pretty mature concept. Again, it's been around 5-10 years and kind of full force. And there's a ton of software. There's a ton of training. There's a ton of resources out there to help support this. So just start Googling, start searching, and you're going to run into 101 different resources that can help you on your journey to take really your sales enablement game to the next level. But at the end of the day, sales enablement seeks to just do one thing, and that is generate more revenue for your company, grow sales revenue. That's it. So if you're over the moon pleased with how your company's sales revenue is growing, then maybe there's a lower need for sales enablement efforts. But if you feel like you're on a plateau or have been stagnant for a little while, or you've hit your head on the revenue ceiling and you're trying to find ways to take it to the next level, then guess what? Sales enablement is the place for you to turn. So, all right. Well, that's it for today. So great to be with you. I love chatting about these topics and sharing some insights and information with you. So I hope it's been helpful today. Can't wait to be back with you once again. And be sure to like and subscribe. Share this. If you've enjoyed this particular episode, then do me a favor. Take a screenshot with your phone, post it on social media, and tag me, Terry Hansen or Hansen Plus. And I'll be able to respond and see how you're doing there. So anyway, great to be with you. Can't wait to see you back here once again next week, right back here on Sales Performance Improvement Radio. Take good care. See you soon.